undrafted free agent Jack Colletto out of Oregon State. Oregon State, Jonathan Smith, friend of the program. He won he won last year the award for the most versatile player in college football. They call it the Paul Hornung Award. Guy used
Remember him? Yeah.
Guy used to play all the positions back in the day. He's a junior college quarterback who then came to Oregon State and played quarterback. Then they moved him. He played linebacker and I would call it like H, but they would line him up at quarterback and have him just run like quarterback sweeps and score
like Taysom Hill. When you
Taysom Hill, he would throw it sometimes. He would sometimes line up at like kind of H tight end, and he caught a touchdown pass. He's not. I would.
He had the walk-off touchdown against the Dogs
against Fresno State. Yeah. So he's 6'3". He's about 240. Smart. Right. You play that many positions. Play linebacker. So I think Kyle would like him. Can throw the football a little. Played quarterback. Good. Multi-sport kind of baseball, basketball. Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Washington. Like, he was a legitimate high school quarterback in the state of Washington that produces good high school football players. Then he plays for Jonathan Smith, which is a hard-nosed, tough defense and a creative offense.
Did the University of Washington and Pete not want him? Or was he just obviously couldn't play quarterback there?
He went to junior college first. I don't know. Maybe he still wanted to play quarterback coming out of junior college because that's what he did his first year at Oregon State, and Washington has had a really crowded quarterback room for several years. So maybe that's what happened there. But they made him into a Swiss Army knife. And, to me, he makes a lot of sense for the 49ers in terms of, I don't think he's a Juszczyk replacement because Kyle is so athletic and it's he's not the pass catcher that Kyle is. I don't know what kind of, he does some lead blocking, whatever.
Could he play tight end?
Yeah, again, not as athletic as Kyle would be as a pass catcher, but he did play a little bit. They just moved him around. I think, again, more like H, but they did line him up and throw him a ball. They've thrown him the ball before, so he's a little bit of a chess piece, but I think you'd feel comfortable with him. I think he's a little Juszczyk insurance. I don't think you're not replacing Kyle Juszczyk with this guy and getting Kyle Juszczyk because Kyle's so unique. But, the other thing, the Niners, Jimmy was an incredible quarterback sneaker. If you put Jack Colletto in the game, they kind of know what you're going to do. But sometimes they knew what you're going to do with Jimmy. The Niners lose a little there. I just think there's a chance this guy, they got to find a roster spot for him, which is hard on this team. But that's an interesting one to me, Jack Colletto to the Niners.
I would guess a lot of teams were sniffing around him as
the Hammer. That was his nickname in college, the Hammer.
I like that. The 49ers have a hard
the jackhammer, actually.
Pac-12 guys, huh? They love drafting a good.
Yeah, I mean they would like him. But I could see Kyle and Jonathan Smith getting along and talk. I don't know how much they. But I think it's interesting. Keep an eye on Jack Colletto.
I will.
You saw him. You liked him. I mean, he's a big guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like whatever. Is Oregon State, did they lose a little bit? Are they going to still be really good this year?
Yeah. I mean, they lost a lot of their guys in the secondary. But as you saw, only one of them got drafted.
I guess the tight end got hurt on that final drive against Fresno State and never played again.
Musgrave was hurt last year anyway. They get DJU. Their offensive line is going to be legit again. Their running backs are good.
Did Musgrave catch a long pass on that final drive, and that was the injury, and he never played again?
I think he was already kind of hurt on that play, and maybe then he really got hurt and had to come out.
Yeah. And then the Hammer knocked it in,
and then the jackhammer scored.
The Hammer scored because they went for 2, right, to end it. Yeah, with the jackhammer.
So I don't know. I mean, again, we love having these conversations. Here's a guy, he could be interesting. Then it comes time to make your 53-man roster, and it's hard to find a spot.
Yeah.
But
you don't have to make the 53-man roster. You just have to impress enough to get on the practice squad, and then injuries happen, and that's how you get on. If you're on the practice squad and they really like you, sometimes with offensive linemen, there's no rotation, but a lot of these other positions, there's a very good chance that you get elevated throughout the season. People get hurt. I mean, I don't care what team you are, and especially this fucking squad. Holy cannoli! I mean,
Yeah, well, then at minimum he's use check insurance. He's more versatile than I think Josh Hokett, right? Who's been the Niners' other kind of fullback in the past.
yeah, the Fresno State guy.
Yeah.
Well, they just don't really exist. It's sad, we were fullback people. Low kneel, use check, but it's just you're not going to turn on the television on Saturday, and I bet if you looked around on Friday, when I was in high school football, every single high school football team had a fullback. I would guess the major programs in all these major states, you'd be hard-pressed to find a team that does any more than like one running back. And I bet they use their tight end a lot in the slot. I mean, I bet if we looked around, the majority of high school offenses at the highest level programs are all spread. How would you not be? It's just the easiest thing to do and have success with.